There's also fierce fighting on the ground, and as rebel and government forces battle for control, residents are fleeing to the countryside where conditions are harsh. CNN's Arwa Damon is joining us now from Benghazi with more. Arwa, tell us what you saw today.
Well, it's really quite heartbreaking. We met a little boy, 12 years old. His name is Mahmoud. We were speaking with his father about what they had experienced. And then we asked him if he was scared, and he said yes, in a perfectly normal voice. But then all of a sudden, he cradled his head in his arm, and he was trying to hide the fact that he was crying. He was that traumatized by what he had gone through, his father said. This particular family had fled Ajdabia 3 days ago because of the intense fighting. They were telling us about how Gaddafi's forces were indiscriminately firing their weapons, firing tanks at civilians, at their residences. As they were driving out, they described streets strewn with bodies that no one was able to recover because anyone who approached them would get shot at. This entire area outside of Ajdabia is scattered with various campsites that families have set up. They've been living like this, some for 2 weeks, some for just a day, some arriving at this very moment. They have no water, no electricity. These tents are very basic. Some of them were even just made out of tree branches and shrubs that had been lashed together. People telling us, though, that they don't want to leave this area, Wolf. They don't want to, say, go to Benghazi and set up a temporary housing with family, because they believe every night when they go to sleep that somehow when they wake up the next morning, Gaddafi's forces will have been defeated, Ajdabia will be safe, and they'll be able to go back home, Wolf.
So they're confident that in the end, whether it takes a few more days, a few more weeks, months, in the end, they will succeed, Gaddafi will be defeated?
They're confident in that, Wolf, and they're also clinging to that because at the end of the day, psychologically speaking, they have to. They've been through so much already, and they do realize that if somehow this entire effort by the opposition to topple Gaddafi fails and he does regain control over the country, that massacre everyone has been warning about could become a reality once again, and that's why they're toughing it out in these conditions. And plus, they don't want to move that far away from their homes, from Ajdabia. They want to be able to rush right back in the minute that they feel that it's safe. But it has been so terrifying for these residents in there. We were speaking with a woman who was telling us about how her neighbors, the young men living in the house next door, were taken out by Gaddafi's forces. They disappeared. No one knows where they went. A number of residents telling us how Gaddafi's troops were parading up and down the streets, encouraging residents to come out, promising them that they would be safe, and then firing on them. And then, of course, there are the very disturbing stories that we only hear in hushed whispers because of the cultural taboos, and that is of women being raped. And so everybody really out there waiting, hoping, braving the harsh weather. It's incredibly cold here at night because they do want to be able to go home, and they do so hope it's going to be soon, Wolf.
All right, well, let's hope for the best. Arwa, thanks very much for your excellent reporting. Like all of our reporters, she's doing a fabulous.
It's incredibly cold here at night because they do want to be able to go home, and they do so hope it's going to be soon, Wolf.
All right, well, let's hope for the best. Arwa, thanks very much for your excellent reporting. Like all of our reporters, she's doing a fabulous.